Welcome back to Morning Trade Live. Time to talk about Jay Powell. One more time. We got a few minutes left in the end of the show. Scott Bauer is with us, as well as Michael McCurran and Stephanie Lewicki from TD Ameritrade. All right, Scott. The press conference, the speech, heard around the markets. It's like not only is the trade stuff finally feeling like it's reaching a crescendo, it's like something's got to give on Powell, president, market, everything. Is this as big as the hype?
I think it's actually, in my opinion, it's just so poor that it's gotten to reality TV. Completely away from politics and or the economy. This is now reality TV, and it's not what it should be, right? There should not be this focus on will he or won't he for the reasons that the president doesn't want him to.
Hold on, there's been kind of reality TV before, right? People used to look at the binder and like try and read the notes of Greenspan and stuff. Like that was pretty ridiculous too, right?
That was great. It was the briefcase indicator. You were just a young toddler.
Oh, I read history.
No, but that is true. But this now you're talking about the president versus the Fed. And I'm not getting into this politically here, but the Fed has to stand alone. The Fed has to make the decisions based on what they believe is best for the economy. What is going to happen here? Well, everyone thinks that he's going to come out, he's going to talk about, where we are right now. They're going to raise rates in December, and then maybe, just maybe, back off a little bit, get a little bit dovish.
Here's what I would say, just to kind of set the stage here, if you will, is that the political analysis and the read-throughs we don't do. However, when politics becomes a catalyst for a company, for example, like it was with GM yesterday, obviously we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay? The Powell thing, what I'm curious about is whether or not the politics and the presidential side of it, and the comments that we just saw in the Washington Post, the tweet, Stephanie, is it really a catalyst? Do we really, do we need to know if Powell is taking all this information? Do we really think that he's going to be pressured the same way?
I mean, everybody's going to have a different look on this, right? And my opinion, I think, is that Powell is not going to, that he is going to or has been ignoring Trump's comments, and that he's not going to address them today. Now, we are all anxiously awaiting this because it can have the potential to move the markets.
Right.
But
we're going to find out, basically, if Powell is listening to all this, if politics and Trump really are catalysts.
Yes, so we're looking December, 80%, but what is he going to say about 2019? Because some are saying 1, some are saying 4 rate hikes. So although something may not come out of this, I think as an investor, you do need to pay attention. You do need to listen. You need to watch the news. You got your news ticker in the Thinkorswim platform. Watch that for headlines that are coming out, because headlines are moving markets. But yes, we're all anxiously awaiting it because it does. We saw when Powell did a little slip in his verbiage last month, how that kind of shook up the market.
Everybody calls that a slip.
Well, it's not a slip. It's,
well calculated.
Well calculated. But the guy, I tell you, he's got a tough job because he's got to watch every single word he says.
Yep. You can't please everybody.
Yes.
0% chance he can please everyone. Mike?
Right. And Stephanie makes a great point that he has an incredibly difficult job, maybe arguably one of the hardest in the world. So one thing that I am looking at this in the sense of, I think it's being overhyped, his speech. I think what Stephanie said about going into 2019.
You don't think it's market moving potentially?
It's absolutely market moving, but I don't think he's going to acknowledge anything that's been tweeted out recently. The Fed is and always will be independent. So regardless of what happens on social media and what's tweeted about airing his displeasures for the current Fed chair, I think it's all noise. If it were actually being traded on, the market would be moving a lot lower, I think. If they're starting to question the Fed's independence, that would be a negative catalyst for the market. So moving into 2019, Powell's likely to say, hey, we're still data dependent. We have growth above trend. We have inflation below trend. We're going to keep gradually hiking rates. Why not? We're not seeing anything that says otherwise. So that's what we're going to get again today.
We've only got about a minute left here, Scott, but the trading implication of this and for folks trying to figure out what this means today, how do you trade around this event? Do you look for volatility? Do you look for the more kind of philosophical questions being answered about whether or not the Fed truly is? This Fed is going to be independent like the others. How do you approach this?
I'm looking at it from a volatility standpoint and looking to sell any pop in volatility because, much like you just said, Mike, I think it's way overhyped. If we get a pop on vol somewhere along,
go down on this, buy them.
I'd rather sell VIX than buy SPOOs.
Good, that's what I'm trying to get to in terms of the mechanics of how you execute that position.
Yes, I'd rather sell VIX than buy SPOs.
Yeah, all right.